Welcome back to the MNstash. It's that time of the week again, which means we have a new Spider-Man comic to take a look at. That's right, the Amazing Spider-Man issue 33 has been released. But before we get into it, be sure to like and subscribe for more Spider-Man content on the way. We are trying to hit 520 subscribers before the end of the week, and with your help, I know we can reach it. And with that being said, let's get straight into the video. So a quick little recap in case you have missed the previous episodes. Kraven the Hunter and Green Goblin teamed up to return Norman Osborn's disembodied sins to him. After mystically imbuing the sins into a spear, Kraven set forth to Oscorp headquarters to hunt down the reformed villain. However, all of Kraven's carefully laid plans went out the door when Spider-Man took the spear hit instead of Norman. Spidey may have prevented the return of the Green Goblin, but with every foul deed Norman committed under the name coursing through Peter's veins, he may have created something much worse. Our story opens up with Peter brooding in the dark, reminiscing on his life. As he sits and thinks, his mind focuses on Kraven the Hunter, one of a few men only to truly push Spider-Man to his limits. After inheriting Norman's sins, Peter hasn't been himself anymore, and blames himself for Kraven going unpunished because he's always had to keep up the image of being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. However, he no longer has to worry about that, as he sets out to do what he's always wanted to do to Kraven the Hunter. Norman is seen rushing to Peter's place knowing what is about to be unleashed, but only to find his red and blue suit left on the floor. Meanwhile, Kraven is seen preparing for the big encounter with Spider-Man. However, he knows this is a hunt he'll never forget, for he is no longer the hunter, but the prey. Spider-Man is able to catch him by surprise and inject Kraven with a mysterious substance. Kraven, trying to fight his role in the hunt, fills Spider-Man with rage as he yells at him to run. He doesn't get far before Spider-Man tracks him down. Kraven tries to explain that he's not his father, only for Spider-Man to coldly reply, "Close enough." But then, Peter throws Kraven away, letting him go. Confused at first, it isn't long for Kraven to realize that Spider-Man is just playing with him. Kraven runs into the sewers while Spider-Man taunts him from above. He explains that the injection wasn't meant to harm him, but to make his scent easier to find for the horror that is vermin. At first, Kraven is able to hold them all off until he slowly loses his grip and is being swarmed by the hundreds of vermin. Of course, Spider-Man wasn't going to let vermin kill Kraven, as he still had much more planned for him. So he brutally intervenes and drags him out of the sewers while Kraven passes out. He wakes up to find himself in a coffin with Spider-Man tossing a gun at him saying, "Here's this, in case you want to skip to the end." And the book ends with Kraven being buried alive. This was about as stupid as I expected it to be when I first heard that they were going to attempt a reverse Kraven's Last Hunt. Unsurprisingly, Zeb Wells missed the entire point of what made the original story regarded as one of the best Spider-Man stories ever made. Zeb, you are no JMD, as if that needed to be said. This issue was basically what an edgy 13-year-old would come up with as a suitable form of revenge for what Kraven did to Peter in the original story. But even that edgy 13-year-old probably wouldn't have done this story like this, given that the Kraven Peter is hunting isn't even the same Kraven from the original story. Mary Jane was also a major factor of what made Kraven's Last Hunt so good. And of course, she makes no appearance here and isn't even referenced. Maybe she'll be a part of the next issue as the person that snaps Peter out of his goblin mode, but the odds of that are considerably low due to how much the editorial hates Mary Jane. If anything, Wells has used Norman as the MJ stand-in, which is just weird as f***. But based on the way he's been using Norman throughout this run, maybe he thinks Norman is a better love interest for Peter than Mary Jane. I mean, who knows? After all, Peter has spent most of this entire run basically stalking Norman like a lovesick teenager. I feel like a broken record after having said this so many times in my previous videos, but Norman Osborn is an evil man, and having his sins removed doesn't take that away in the slightest. It's like, hey, I know you killed my ex-girlfriend, faked my aunt's death, basically killed my unborn baby, was the sole reason behind Harry, my best friend's demise, killed my clone who had a fond of a brotherly bond with, but you're acting nice now, so water on the bridge, am I right? The cover preview for the next issue was strongly hinting at the return of the Green Goblin in some form, so hopefully we can get over this irritating plotline for good and lock it away under stories that just happened. Doubt that's going to be the case though, because all this run has done is just disappoint Spider-Man fans issue after issue. Anyways, even with all my complaints, this is one of the better issues of the run, not that that's saying much, but it mostly comes down to Patrick Gleason's artwork. He's very easily become one of my favorite modern artists since joining the book a couple of years ago. His style has evolved a lot, but it just gets better and better. I love the way he draws the eyes on the black suit, it's very McFarlane-esque. And I generally hope that he can move forward as the main artist on this title. However, it's a shame that it'll be wasted on the worst Spider-Man volume in history. Another bonus was that this book was mercifully short, so we didn't actually have to read too much of Wells' shocking dialogue. I mean, the whole friendly neighborhood speech at the start just felt so childish to me. I won't lie to you, the concept of a Mind Warp Peter getting revenge on one of his villains is starting to grow on me a little bit. Maybe it's due to how underpowered he's been in this entire book or something like that, but I just wish it was executed in a better way. I guess another positive would be that I didn't walk away from this issue questioning my entire existence because of how bad it was, so at least it had that going for it. Oh, and of course there was no Paul, so that's always a win in my book. Overall, this issue was definitely not as bad as some of the previous ones we've gotten, and I was kept mildly stimulated throughout reading it. But I must say that Gleason does carry this comic a lot, and without his artwork, I just know that it would have taken out any enjoyment I had. I'm genuinely baffled at how this book isn't cancelled yet. I've seen so many stores through social media being stocked with this series and being unable to sell a copy. Hell, even the comic book store I go to in the heart of the city has heaps of copies from this series that are just sitting there collecting dust. But it does give me hope that maybe one day, due to the lack of sales, that Marvel will wake up and just revert back to how things were. However, I do know that's asking for a lot. But that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because here, any support means so much. I'd love to hear what you guys thought of this issue down below in the comments section. We can start a conversation. And be sure to join us next time for more Spider-Man related content. Same web time, same web channel. Thank you guys for watching and see you in the next one.